I can sit here. I could also sit here.
And do whatever you want to.
Hello, welcome. Is anybody there? Say yes in the chat if you're there. I did my first full term of online classes this term, and I have thoughts about it. It didn't go super smoothly, but enough went right that I think it's like a really valuable thing to do. I didn't make my students turn their cameras on, which is always, I always hear that as the complaint, but like, I also always see that students are constantly complaining, I don't want to be monitored so much, so I decided I didn't care. I guess the thing is, everybody complains about online classes because they're not like perfect yet. Of course they're not. We kind of threw it together in an epidemic, and then the chips fell where they may. But I really like teaching from home wearing pajama bottoms, and I don't care who knows it. I don't make my students turn their cameras on because I know that's everyone's complaint, but I know it's also every student's complaint that they have a camera on in their private space. And I don't really care. I don't want to look at them. And I can tell anyway. Your teacher can tell anyway who is paying attention and who can't, who is not paying attention. But I think the idea of an online space is so great for accessibility. And it's something that's disappointing. Like, we made this big change for extraordinary circumstances, and then like the second we could stop doing the change thing and go back to normal, everybody wanted to do that. But like, there's people, including me, who really like the idea of being able to participate in the public world on my own terms. And I think that's not something we should discount or throw away. I'm reading the Octavia Butler Earthseed series. Earthseed. Earthseed would be something different. Which is a book all about, eerily parallels some current social happenings and political happenings. But the main character, it creates this religion called Earthseed. If you haven't read it, you should. It's very scary, but very good. Which is all about embracing change. And I don't think that the point of the book is supposed to be like that I'm converted to Earthseed, but I do, it's a good exercise, I think. I mean, her point, it's the point, I didn't read into this, is that uncertain times drive people to fascism when they can't accept the changes going on around them. Oh, that got heavy. That got heavy very quickly. So I'm saying, if you're against online teaching, you're a fascist. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I know that the change is annoying. I like things to be the same, but it is also like change is this opportunity. Because it's more than physical disability, why someone might not be able to come to your classroom. And I find like access to all these tools is really useful as well. Like the breakout rooms, the fact that I have the ability to make notes as my students are talking that they can also see and share stuff from the internet. And I guess if you have like a smart board as a teacher, this is something you might have had access to already, but I've never taught at a school rich enough to have that equipment. Again, accessibility across, oh my goodness. I've got so many thoughts. What if I start talking off camera here? I guess this is what it's making me think of. Online teaching as a metaphor for the fact that like it's annoying to change the way things have always been done. And there are good reasons for some of the systems we have in place, or some aspects of systems we have in place. But it is frustrating to see like we'll make changes if we have to, but if we don't have to, we don't want to make changes when we don't really have systems that serve everybody equally. That's what online teaching made me think about. It's an opportunity. I mean, one of the big issues, I would say, I saw someone talking about this on Twitter, another teacher. The thing that they really miss in online education is that you have no non-instructional interactions with the students, and that is true. Which, my students are adults too, so I have their WeChat info, and we can message each other directly if we feel like it. So there is a capability to expand that out into online social interaction, but online interaction is still interaction. But there's not like that chummy, let's bond over blueberries. I don't know what people bond over. And also, the one thing I miss by not making my students turn on their cameras is that, like, if I'm in front of a classroom, I can see non-comprehension. But if I don't actually see their faces, there could be nobody there. So I developed the strategy of say yes in the chat if you understood what I said, which makes me feel both like a robot, but it is also like directly what I want. I can't actually say that in a classroom full of people and get a response. Say yes to me now if you understand. They wouldn't do that because that's weird. But you could be a little weird online. That's the whole promise. So what's my point? I think my point is this. Don't throw this baby out with the bathwater. I think it's promising. It still has hiccups. It still has inequalities even. But maybe we should just give everybody free stuff like phones and computers. Maybe we should be full communist. To each according to their needs, from each according to their abilities. What's wrong with that? Have I been living in China? Yes, I have. Oh, but I think we shouldn't give up. I think online technology, this is my plea and a voice against the tide of, yes, there are problems, so let's fix those problems because accessibility is so important, whether that's physical accessibility or like for people's mental health or people who are caregivers who would have an opportunity that they wouldn't have otherwise. There's so many good reasons for online school, even though it's a pain in the butt. Say yes in the comments if you agree. So this was my last week of regular classes. And it's interesting, even online, the different classes did have different personalities. Like I could tell this was class 4-2 versus 8-2 versus 6-2. That's how my classes are numbered. Because each class still maintained a different flavor. And one of my classes, on our last day, I did tell them they have to turn on their camera for their final exam because it's an oral exam one-on-one. So I need to see these lips, this mouth is saying these words. But they surprised me because I was doing screen share while I was explaining, you must turn on your camera. And then I turned it off to say goodbye, and they had all turned their cameras on, and it really was like, this class was always online, so I had never met them in person before, but it was really moving to see them. And they were all in their pajamas too, which was great. I kind of thought I would be just instantly good at online class because I'm actually used to talking to a camera, making these YouTube videos. But I realized here's why it doesn't translate, is because making the YouTube videos, yes, I'm talking to a camera, but I'm also talking to Peter, who is right there and giving me those, like, I can see in his eyes that he hears me. Because I don't think about you, the audience. I'm not in real-time communication with you, so that doesn't bother me so much that you are not responding. Whereas like speaking to my computer monitor, I guess I could have Peter stand behind it while I'm teaching class, and then I would feel like I'm speaking to somebody. Because there was like my very first online class was a disaster all around, and then I just so I thought about, okay, what were the problems? How do I fix them? And I know, like, I don't mean to be glib, like everybody should just deal with it. I know that that's not everybody's cup of tea, but maybe like some people could deal with it and then fix these problems for other people.